Hey everyone, my name is Dunne. I work on the product management team here at Cumulocity, and today I'm going to be taking you through our brand new public preview of our data preparation application. So what is data preparation? What are we talking about today? Data preparation is a in-product data transformation solution, and we recognize the need for this solution based on the recent improvements that we made specifically regarding our Cumulocity MQTT service. So my colleague Jane has previously made videos and blog posts about this new service that we're offering that allows you to get your raw device data as close as possible to Cumulocity, right? However, once that data is in the cloud, you need to transform that into the Cumulocity domain format, right? We need to harmonize that data into the standard format so that you can do things downstream like analytics or offloading. We validated this use case by the open source dynamic mapper. I'll touch up more on that in just a moment. But the idea is really this, right? You take your raw input device data, you process it using some piece of code or some custom agent right now, and then you have your Cumulocity standardized output. This is really the whole flow that we want to enable through this new application. And I'm going to take you through data preparation, what it means for you, and how you can get access to it today. So as I mentioned, data preparation is a AI-powered data transformation tool. And what does that AI-powered mean? It means we as Cumulocity are giving you the tools necessary to do this sort of mapping from format A to format B using AI. We think this is a really good use case for AI, and it means that non-developers or business users are able to onboard devices and onboard data to Cumulocity as quickly and as easily as possible. Previously, where you'd have to have your custom development cycles, your developers get involved, write these microservices, write these custom agents. No longer do you have to do that. With this AI assistant that we're enabling through data preparation, you can just say, hey, please convert this to Cumulocity format, and it works. I'll give you a demo of that in just a moment, but it's a pretty cool system, and we're really excited to have you try it. We also know that you get the kind of suite of Cumulocity performance, right? The enterprise-grade data quality and the cloud-native scalability, right? The dynamic mapper is a great open-source solution, but we wanted to bring this within product so that we give you those robustness and the scalability that you've known and you love with Cumulocity. So we're really excited about this data preparation application and the AI-powered nature of it. So where does data preparation sit within the flow of your data operations? So on the left-hand side here, you see your production site. So this is where your devices are. Maybe you're connecting them via Thin Edge or via the MQTT service, whatever you're doing, right? But once that data is in the cloud, it's important that we transform that data. So after you ingest that data, that's really when the data preparation layer comes in. And then you use that downstream in Cumulocity with things like Digital Twin Manager or Streaming Analytics. And then as you offload it, you have your asset APIs, your data hub, etc. Right? This is really kind of forming the foundation of your AI agents and applications downstream. Cumulocity as kind of a harmonization layer, of your data allows you to have better processing of your AI agents and downstream, right? So it's really this new MQTT service that has kicked off the need for this data preparation application. That's really why we spent the time investing in it. So today we are launching the public preview of this. So a bunch of features are already included in this public preview, but note, of course, we're not in generally available or GA release yet. That's hopefully coming down the road. But today, what are we supporting? You have the support for the new Cumulocity MQTT service. You can create these rules, these transformation rules. It processes that incoming data into your measurements, events, alarms inside of Cumulocity. You can create JavaScript through the system, and you can use the AI code generation tool to make your JavaScript for you. There's an in-UI testing framework. You can also scope out your incoming messages on the MQTT service via a function we call live capture. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. And we also have a accessible TypeScript API in case you want to do external development or development of these data preparation rules outside of the Cumulocity tenant itself. So I'm going to show you all these great features in just a moment here, but I want to kind of issue a challenge to you, right? So this data preparation application, as you get access to it, you will see that the UI is built for JSON, right? We expect a lot of JSON payloads coming into Cumulocity in order to be that need to be transformed into Cumulocity's format. However, the backend kind of architecture and the system, that the engine that runs data preparation is format agnostic. So as you write code, maybe you have a payload that's coming in binary or hex buffs or protobuf or something like that, the data preparation, while the UI may not be able to handle that directly, the underlying engine can handle that. You can have code that processes, protobuf values into the Cumulocity domain format, right? And this really allows you to do this limitless execution. You can tell the AI, hey, I have a hex payload. Here's what it looks like. Here's what I need to do with it, and it'll be able to process that. But we are always looking for more data challenges and more testing for our AI framework and also the engine itself. So if you are coming to Cumulocity with one of these unique data challenges, please do reach out to me. I want to hear your use case. I want to understand what's going on, and I want to add it to our testing framework so that we can ensure that whatever we produce in the future adheres to your use case. So my contact emails are there. And then last thing before we jump into the demo, I do want to highlight the dynamic mapper. So as I mentioned, data preparation, we're launching a public preview. That means it's not really ready for production yet. But if you have data transformation needs that are in production or you need them today, I highly recommend you investigate the open source dynamic mapper. This is a tool that's been developed over the last 3 years. It's validated a lot of this data transformation use cases that we've had, and a lot of development effort has been spent into making this a really great tool. We're seeing a lot of success with this tool. So if you have those data preparation needs today, I highly recommend you check out this dynamic mapper tool. And now we're going to dive into a demo of data preparation. I'm going to show you how to get onboarded to the public preview, in addition to how to set up your rules and get things started. So stay tuned for that. All right. Hi there. I'm here. I'm down here now. So in this short demo, I'm going to show you how to gain access to the public preview of data preparation. This is a tenant that I've just created. It's a brand new tenant. You can see it does not have access to data preparation. I will show you exactly how to do that, right? So the first thing you're going to want to come and do is go into the administration application, right? This is sort of, your one-stop shop for all things admin on your tenant. From there, you're actually going to click your little icon up here in the top right where your username is, and then go to preview features. Right here, you will see data preparation. That's exactly what we're looking forward to. You can read a little bit more about it, but all you need to do to enable it is just like that, right? Now, if you want to use the AI functionality of data preparation as well, I highly recommend you enable the AI agent manager as well. This is also in a public preview as well. So we're going to flip that just for the purposes of this demo. So now everything will be provisioned to your tenants. You can see it's going to reload and give me access to not only the data preparation application, but also the AI agent manager, right? So going over here, you could see my data preparation application has been made available to me. If I click into that, you will see that the UI is pretty bare bones at the start. We have our kind of homepage here, and this is where we're going to create rules. But I'm going to hit this error, right? So I have not updated my permissions yet to use data preparation. That's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to dive back into the administration application. And I am going to go under accounts and roles. Now I'm going to do this for the admin user, but you can do this for whatever user profile you have. If I click into the admin user, you'll see that down here we have our data preparation rules and data preparation deployments. I'm going to give myself all access to both of those, right? The deployments one allows you to deploy rules, so make them active, and the rules allows you to create rules. So if you have different users at your company that may need to edit things but don't want to deploy things, you can control that as well. So then I'm going to scroll back up here and also give myself the AI agent permissions here as well. This will enable the AI agent manager as I just did, and you will be able to process and create data prep rules using that AI. That's really what we want to do. So if these permissions aren't already selected, if you see that pop up as I got with that warning, please just make sure that these permissions are granted to your user profile. So when I hit save, this is going to prompt me to log out because I'm editing the admin one, the global role, and then I'm going to be right back with you as I log back into Cumulocity. All right, so I'm back here in Cumulocity, and you can see that we've updated our admin role. I've relogged in. If I now go to data preparation, you will see that I don't get that error pop up, and you can see all of the different rules that are now available. These are some rules that have already been created, but don't worry, we're going to show you exactly how to create a rule. But first, I want to dive back into the administration application to show you the AI Agent Manager. Now, if you've given yourself the AI permissions, you'll be able to see this. This is where you'll go to configure your AI provider. Now, I'm not going to dive too much into the details here because all of that is available and documented in other documentation and videos. But what I want you to make sure that is if you are planning to use the AI through your data preparation public preview, make sure you do configure your provider. All you're going to do here is come in, select your provider. If you're using Claude or you choose Anthropic, ChatGPT using OpenAI, etc. Right? Then you type in the name of the model. So, for example, Claude Sonnet 4.6, and give your AI key here, your API key. So all of that will be done from your own external AI provider, whoever you end up using. You just pump that in here, and then it'll work. Now, when you create your data preparation, your first data preparation rule, this AI agent will be created. So the CAY data preparation, you don't need to touch it. You don't need to look at it. Don't worry, it'll be created for you automatically. I just want to mention that you need to set up your global provider here directly within the administration application to ensure that you'll be able to use the AI in the data preparation app. So from here, we're going to take you through a demo of using data prep, connecting your data, and how do I use the AI to transform that data. So stick with me. Now we have the fun part. Okay, so now that we have all of the permissions, we've gotten access to the public preview of data preparation application, we are now going to finally sit down and create a rule. This is the exciting part, okay? So to start, I'm back here in data preparation. Now I have a bunch of other rules that I've created already here. We're not going to worry about those now. We're going to go through the new rule creation process. So to start, I have a simulated device that's posting over the Cumulocity MQTT service. I'm going to quickly show you that here. So you can see this simulated temperature device is coming in. It's very easy and simple payloads. It's just a temperature value and a timestamp, but it's posting over the C8Y/sim/temperature topic on the MQTT service, right? So all of this data is being posted about every 10 seconds. So it's just a very simple simulator that mocks up the device as we're sending it to Cumulocity. So back in data preparation, I'm going to hit create rule. And you can see our source transport is already filled in for me. It's the MQTT service. That's what we support through data preparation today. We are then going to select our topic filter. So we know that we're posting over the C8Y/sim/temp. Right? Now, this does support wildcards. You can use asterisk characters if you need to do any wildcard, and we'll see an example of that in just a moment. But also, if you need a client ID filter, if you're searching for an individual device that you want to search on, you can do that as well. Now, to proceed, there's two options. So if you have a payload that you're already using, maybe your device isn't connected yet, you have a sample payload that you can copy and paste in, you can choose the enter your test data later. Right. However, I know that my data is posting over this MQTT topic, so I'm going to start what we call a live capture. This will effectively let me snoop in or look at the MQTT topic here and see what data is coming in. Now, this currently only works for JSON payload, so if you do have binary or something else, it won't work. But as I mentioned previously, the data preparation rule actually does, or engine does actually work for those payloads. It's just the UI doesn't support them yet. So I'm going to start this live capture. And now immediately you can see that data is being posted and it's coming in. So this is that same data you just saw. It's now being taken in. We could see the topic is right there. That's exactly what we expect. And about every 10 seconds, we're seeing this data posted for this device as it comes in. So from here, we're just going to select one of these payloads and we're going to take it to the rule creating process. So if I, just select the latest one, again, you could see all sorts of different types on stuff. This is just used for the initial kind of prompting of the AI or the latter. You can also take a copy and paste version of this. Again, if you don't have that device connected directly over MQTT yet, you can copy and paste in that and it'll allow you to create your rule. So I'm going to hit the next button. You'll see we give our rule a name. I'm going to leave it as the topic name, description if we want, and then I'm going to hit create. So from here, this is the screen. This is where the magic happens, so to say, right? So we have our input payload that we selected there. Again, it's a super simple payload, but it'll be great for this demo purposes, right? Our AI assistant is over here on the left side, and it says, hey, it's already given us some prompts. So let's convert this to a Cumulocity measurement. I'm just going to click that button there, and it's going to convert this to a Cumulocity measurement. What it's doing behind the scenes is it's looking at this input payload. It knows what Cumulocity measurement should look like, and it's going to create a piece of JavaScript or a smart function that converts from raw JSON into the Cumulocity expected format, right? So all I've done without writing a lick of code, I've clicked one button and it's able to process this data here, right? I could save and deploy this, but I want to show you a little bit more in the data preparation application here. So we have a full testing framework, right? So this test up here, this is the test one, it's the default test, but we have our input here, and we have, if I click the run test, what it's going to do is it's going to run this code, and then it's going to produce the output. Right, so this is the output as it would be sent into Cumulocity. This is what it will look like. So this is a success, right? Just in one click, I've generated a smart function that processes the incoming data and allows it to be used in Cumulocity downstream. I could save and deploy this right now and it would work, but I want to show you just a few more things in here. So this is a fully fledged testing framework. So for example, you can add additional tests in here. Now I'm actually going to get the AI to do this for me, right? So you could see one of the things that's prompted is, hey, add a test for missing or null temperature values. So I'm going to click that and see what happens. What it's going to do is it's going to update this test up here to show a null case or a missing value case, right? So it's adding 2 new tests. And if I look at those, you can see we have our missing or null temperature test here. Now, within each of the input tests, you can have different messages. So here we have a message where we don't even have a temperature value, and here we have a temperature value of null, right? Now, if I were to run this, you would see that we get some errors, right? Because all of the AI did is it updated the tests in here. It did not actually update the smart function. The smart function itself did not have any error case handling. So we need to go back and add that. Now, one of the things that I love is we could say fix the smart function. So right away, it understands, hey, this error case failed. We need to fix our smart function to deal with it. So if I click that, it's going to my AI is going to say, okay, I need to fix this, right? But it's asking me some clarifying questions. So it'd say, what do you want to do? Do you want to skip the message, use a default value, return something else? I'm just going to skip the message. So the AI will ask you questions if it needs to, right? And that's really quite a cool thing. So now it's going to go back, it's going to update our smart function, it's going to see, hey, what do we do in the undefined or the null case? And now when we try and run our tests, we could see that no outputs were generated. We didn't get that error. We now have the expected output, right? So that's really quite cool. The AI can help you with your testing framework. It can also fix your tests as they come up, right? Now, the last thing I want to do before we deploy this is I'm going to add Kelvin and Fahrenheit values, right? So this is obviously just in Celsius for right now. I'm going to tell the AI, please add K and Fahrenheit values. You have to say please because you got to be nice for when our AIs take over our worlds, right? So now it knows the conversion between Celsius and Kelvin and Celsius and Fahrenheit, and it's going to update our smart functions to do that, right? So now if we take a look at the code, you could see it's creating that Kelvin, that Fahrenheit value. And if we rerun our tests, let's go to our first test because this actually has the data. If we run that test, you can see that we now have the Fahrenheit value, the Kelvin value, and the Celsius value that all been processed, right? So now that I've kind of shown you some things you can do with this, I hope your gears are spinning, your mind is wheeling about what you can do with this data preparation and specifically what you can do with this AI. It's really quite a powerful thing, and I'll show you some more advanced use cases in just a moment here. But for now, with our very simple temperature use case, I'm going to save and deploy. So now this rule is active, right? So this is live. It's processing the data that is being posted over MQTT. And if we jump into device management, we should see a brand new device that's been created. So here's our temperature device that was just created. And we should be able to take a look. So if I go to the last minute, you can see that our device is now sending data, right? So all of that data that's being processed by the MQTT service, it's being, those raw payloads are coming in over MQTT. It's being processed by data preparation, and it now lends itself directly into Cumulocity here, right? So that raw payload that you saw here, we can see this raw payload again. It's not in Cumulocity's format. It is a completely random format. Cumulocity doesn't know how to deal with it. However, data prep is taking that, it's processed it using that AI-generated JavaScript smart function, and is now available in Cumulocity as measurements. It is an insanely powerful tool. I'm super excited to get you guys using it. I'm really excited about this data preparation thing. And just to close the loop, we can see we also have our Kelvin and our Fahrenheit values as well. All of that has been processed successfully and is now made available to you for use within Cumulocity. You can do streaming analytics on top of this. You can do, offloading. You can build your custom microservices, your dashboards, whatever you want to do. The data is now in Cumulocity, harmonized, ready to go for your use. So I hope this gives you just a small indication as to the power of data preparation and what it can do for you. That was a super simple use case, a super simple payload, a super simple data prep rule that we've created. But now I'm going to pivot and I'm going to show you some more complicated use cases that will hopefully, keep your brain going on how you can use this brand new tool. So stay tuned for that. Okay, and now I'm going to give you some more complicated examples that'll hopefully kind of get your ideas flowing on how you could use your devices with this new data preparation. So I'm going to first start with this rules that I've already created, right? So this is a smart light device. So it's, a bulb or something, right? And this is also talking in JSON payloads, right? So this is, it's got things like power, current, all sorts of stuff. I've already gone ahead and created the rule for this, right? But what I want to show you is, this is a much more complicated device payload, right? And what I've built throughout here is the ability to do different alarms, right? So if I run these tests, you could see that it's going to take a look at the sample data that's been given, and it's going to output different alarm types in Cumulocity, right? So here, for example, it's saying a critical alarm, right? So power is above 120 watts, critical threshold has been exceeded, and it's going to send that, right? So all of this has been configured entirely by the AI. All of this code was written by the AI. It not only processes that incoming data, but it also then takes the alarms and creates those alarms based on that incoming data as well. So it's not just the measurement ingestion here, it's also that alarm creation. And if we look at this rule active, if I jump back into device management here, you can see down here at the bottom, these are actually posting to devices that I've already created. And they are also using a wildcard. So for example, this smart device or smart light device is in location 1, this one's in location 3, location 2, etc. Right? So this is using that wildcard functionality. Now, if I click into this device, you can see, of course, as we would expect, the last minute, we have all sorts of different live data coming in. Again, the simulator's posting about every 10 seconds. If we look at all the different values that you saw in that payload, those are all coming in successfully, right? But what I really want to show you is that those alarms are coming in, right? So here we got a warning alarm. The temperature exceeded 41.3 degrees Celsius, so it calculated that warning alarm and sent that in. Again, this is all the power of data preparation. It's just processing the data as it's incoming off of that MQTT stream directly into however you want to use it in Cumulocity, right? Let's see if we have any events. Yeah, same thing here. So the events are coming in. You can see when our light gets switched on, our light gets switched off, right? So the power of this data preparation is really you can do whatever you want to do to transform this data and make it useful for you downstream in Cumulocity, right? So this is, again, just a kind of a simple use case where all the telemetry data is coming directly back in that JSON payload. We're processing it and making it available. However, I want to show you a decoding use case. So if I go back into data preparation here, I have a medical device here. So this is a simulator for a medical device. And if I look at this payload, you can see that it is some sort of decoded and or hashed value. We don't know what this means, right? This is just a bunch of text. This is just a string value, right? We know the serial number of the device, but we don't know what this data is actually meaning, right? So what I've done for this specific example is I've actually uploaded or copy pasted in the device specification. So it tells us how we need to decode this message. I've given that information to the AI here, and it's written a system that will decode all of those values into actual actionable telemetry data in Cumulocity. So again, this is running, but you can see this payload is not numbers, it's not different, telemetry data that we would expect. It is fully encoded data that we need to decode and process to be put in Cumulocity, and it works flawlessly, right? So in this case, for example, we have, let's do this one, for example, we have, this is the input string, right? Again, it's some encoded value, and this is the output, right? You can see that all of that data is now being decoded and it's being outputted into this system, and you can see exactly what the data is going to look like. So if we dive into device management, just to kind of close the loop here, you can see that we have the device that was created. This is that device identifier here. If we look at these measurements, you can see the measurements are coming in. And again, it's decoding this data. So it has the knowledge on how to get all this data and process it and make it actually into numbers that are valuable for us human users, and also, of course, AI agents down the road as well. So you can see it's processing events as well. Do we have any alarms yet? Yes, so we got an alarm too. So all of this was created just by talking with the AI agent to show, the value of the system, right? It is very easy for us to decode this incoming device payload, whereas previously it would take a lot of development effort to create the microservice, create the custom agent to get that done. So this is just some more advanced use cases. I hope these got your mind kind of swinging about what can be done with data preparation. I'm really excited about data preparation. I think it's a really cool tool aided by this AI agent, and I think you all are going to have a great time using it. So my name again is Tal Dunne. This has been an introduction to the public preview of data preparation. I highly encourage you to take a look, to give it a use, and I look forward to hearing about your use cases. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope to hear from you on your data prep use cases. All right, take care.